Well, it finally happened. The Giants have landed someone viewed as a top tier guy in a free agency class. With much failure in the past few years with guys like Aaron Judge, Carlos Correa, the Giants finally landed someone that they deem can be a huge part in their lineup and for the future of their franchise. Willie Adames signed a nice deal, and they're looking to really shore up the left side of their infield, with Matt Chapman playing third and Adames playing short. This is a team that needs to take some leaps, and Willie Adames is a great start. Almost 2 years to the day of the infamous Arson Judge tweet, the Giants have finally landed at someone that they might view as a potential franchise guy. I mean, Willie Adames is getting paid like that, right? We come over here, look at Adames' contract, 7 years, $182 million. They're looking at this guy right here who's coming off a pretty good year, 32 home runs, 112 RBIs, 4.8 F4 season. This is the guy that they're looking to become, basically the face of their franchise. And they tried going down this road before, right? Last 2 years, Arson Judge. I think we remember this tweet, infamous. They thought they were going to get Aaron Judge, and it looked like that for a second. They had a competitive offer, and as this says right here, it's between 320 and 360 million. And at that moment, it seemed like that was a done deal. But Aaron Judge reported back to Hal Steinbrenner and said, "Listen, I want to be in New York, but over in San Francisco, they're offering me this." And San Diego had a big offer too, but there's a weird situation with that. But ultimately, he became a Yankee, right? We all know that the $370 million deal, and they're coming fresh off a World Series berth. But the Giants left empty-handed. But then they had this happen to them as well. The Carlos Correa fiasco. Again, 2022. Same year. This is two guys that they thought they were going to get. And 13 years, 350 million, all until a physical fell through. And the physical was much of a huge disruption for Correa that year, as he was supposed to go to the Mets as well, if you remember. So it's been a long time coming for the Giants. It's been a few years, and they've swung at a lot of guys in the past. It's not just these two. They went for Harper, went for Machado. They went for every one of these big names. But, not that Willie Adames is Aaron Judge or Carlos Correa, but Willie Adames is coming off a really good year. We come take a look at his StatCast. I mean, this is a good year. We saw, some things that dropped off a little bit. His fielding, he's usually a plus fielder, but he was right in that average range. So, defense fell off a little bit, but with Matt Chapman now being next to him, I think that this is going to work out well for him. He's a good defender. He has been in his career. Just not a great year defensively, but what he didn't do defensively, he made up for with the bat, becoming one of the top tier shortstop bats in the league in within the 92 percentile range. And we take a look at what he did well. He hit the ball for extra base hits, right? The barrel percentage. When he hit a ball, he was squaring it up. Did a really good job with the slugging. A 4.44 for good for a or 4.62, sorry, with good for a 793 OPS, which is good. It's not, hands down great, but this is a guy who gave you 30 home runs. And I think this is what the Giants were looking for, right? They were looking for some thump in their lineup. And if we come take a look at their current roster, this is a lineup that leaves a lot to be desired, right? This isn't great. Jung Ho Lee, who we really still don't know too much about because he got hurt last year. And Tyler Fitzgerald seemed to be a bright spot for them, right? He came up and hit 280. It was a bright spot towards a team that finished 80 and 82. LaMonte Wade Jr., he's not going to hurt you. He's actually a pretty good first baseman. So LaMonte Wade Jr. is good, but now you insert Adames next to Matt Chapman in the lineup, and I'm not the biggest Matt Chapman fan. I think he's good, but he's not great. But I think these two will help each other a lot. I think these are guys that will bounce off each other. Not like there's some great 1-2 duo, but this is still a good duo to have and build off of. And they showed the ability to land two decent free agents, and Adames is pretty good. I thought the Adames was someone that the Phillies were going to look at, and a lot of teams were in on the Willie Adames sweepstakes. And for the Giants to finally come through, it should feel good if you're a Giants fan. I wonder how much Buster Posey played a role in this now that he's leading baseball operations over there. Franchise legend. This is now actually the Willy Adames deal is now the biggest deal in that franchise's history, surpassing Buster Posey. So it tells you how highly they view Adames. They're viewing this as a guy who can really come in and take this team at least to maybe fighting for a playoff spot. Now, the problem is they are in the NL West. This is a really, really good division. 89 and 73 didn't get you in the playoffs last year. 93 and 69, people thought, I included, thought this was the World Series favorite here in the Padres. So a lot of room needs to be made up. And I think for the Giants, there's plenty of room for improvement. Logan Webb, he's great. Coming off a little bit of a weird year, but not bad. But he's a guy who's going to finish in top of the Cy Young races. You'll get him, somewhere in that top 10 range, top 12 in Cy Young. Not going to hurt you. Robbie Ray is a question mark, right? He won the Cy Young. Mariners went out and paid for him. Regretted it instantly, and then he ended up his way over to San Francisco. Jordan Hicks is an experiment. Started out good, but they took him from a bullpen arm and put him at starter for a little bit. He only gave you 109 innings, 4.10 ERA. Not great. Kyle Harrison, a guy they have high hopes for. So when you look at this team still needs a lot of work, right? I mean, this is a team that is not great anywhere. And I like Adames, but Adames cannot be the best player on the Giants. It's just as simple as that. He's good, but he's not a guy that's going to make them contend with the Diamondbacks, Padres, Dodgers, Mets, Phillies, anyone, the Braves in the NL West, or just the NL in general. They are still a big few moves away. Not just one or two, a few moves away. If you look at this team, they're a bottom tier team in almost everything. Starting pitching, below average. Whip, below average. Walks per 9, below average. Decent Ks per 9 and decent home runs per 9, but the home runs per 9 can also have a lot to do with the ballpark. Not a great ballpark to hit in, so that could definitely play a role. But not a great offensive team at all. Below average in every stat. And their bullpen also not very good at just about anything other than not allowing home runs, but a lot of that's the Oracle Park tax. I mean, it's not a good park to hit at. Now, they have room, right? They're still under $200 million. They'll be about 150 something with the Adames contract, so they still have room to improve and money to spend. So I think that for the Giants, it's imperative for them to, still make some moves, but they can't go nuts, right? Like, there's not many guys that they need to throw too much money at. I think this is a team who should really look at improving the outfield a little bit. Elliot Ramos was, he was a pretty good revelation, and they have him DHing, but I think he'll play the outfield. Yastrzemski is almost 35 and coming off a bad year. This team has some holes. Actually, not even some. They have a lot of holes. So what are they going to do? What's next? Willy Adames was definitely a step in the right direction, but there's so much more for this team to do. Bullpen just needs to be reworked completely. Now, Ryan Walker was a bit of a revelation towards the end of the year. Camilo Doval struggled big time last year, and they found maybe they have a new closer in Ryan Walker, and who knows what happens with Camilo Doval. He's probably not going to be on that team much longer, and he may have actually already been non-tenured. I feel like he might have been, or it's coming soon, but this is a team that has a lot of room to improve, and free agency is where they need to go to improve. As we see right here, they lost Snell, they lost Conforto. This is a team that, they got to find ways. They got to get creative, because this is the first, quote unquote star that they got to come to San Francisco, and it took a franchise high deal to get him there. And I like Adames, but Adames is not the face of a franchise player that's going to take you and help you win a World Series. He's not the best player on a World Series winning team, and I think that's what the Giants need. They need to find that somewhere, but that somewhere is not in free agency this year. Soto signed. Ohtani signed away last year to the Giants. Aaron Judge signed back with the Yankees. They need a superstar. And who knows where they're going to find that? Maybe Vladdy next year, who knows? But I don't think Vladdy's going to come to San Francisco. No, I don't think he wants to play in that park. And Vladdy's going to demand a big contract. He's probably going to be the next ginormous contract we see in the sport. So, what is next for the Giants? Where do we think they go? I think that this team is a mess, to put it quite frankly. And they took a step in the right direction, absolutely, and I think that's great. I think it's good that the ownership group has shown that they're willing to put out the money, but that the money's actually being put out now due to someone actually accepting their contract and becoming a part of their team. So this is big for the Giants, and this is a big step forward for Giants fans that they need to be happy about. But still, what's next? Where do they go from here? There's a team, like I said before, who's in a bloodbath of a division and a bloodbath of a league. So how will they become the Diamondbacks or the Padres or the Dodgers? The Dodgers are going to continue spending money. They already spent money on Snell and Conforto. They already lost two guys to the Dodgers, to an in-division rival. So they need to act within the next year or two if they really want to be a competitive, serious team. It's like I said, step in the right direction, but ultimately the Giants still leave a lot to be desired, and Willy Adames is not going to fix all of their issues.